Hi there. Do you want to learn how to braise, deglaze, and other terms? Do you want to know what they mean? Well, I can show you if you keep watching. It's not just about the recipe. It's about how to cook, plan a meal, throw a party. I'm Vicki, and this is Meals and Entertaining for Regular People. So I would like to, in continuing with a little bit of tools in the trade and terms, I would like to go over some of my favorite things. Oops. Thank you, honey. So, I wanted to talk about something, the way you cook things a little more. So we talked about roasting. So this is a smaller pan, but for the sake of argument, you put a chicken in or you're going to roast something. You would take a cookie sheet. So they're everywhere, so pick anyone. And you could saute or oil up some potatoes and put that on there, and then you could roast that. So that's roasting, and also braising as that is done. But kind of unofficially, braising is also done in a crock pot, or whatever you Instapot people do, which I'm never going to buy one. Don't buy me one. I already have all this stuff. I have 3 crock pots, but I digress. We didn't talk about sauteing. I think I missed the word sauteing. So sauteing is something that you basically do with a little bit of butter, and you're doing some vegetables, and it's just a short little cooking thing. Like, so for example, when we're caramelizing the onions, we're kind of sauteing them. So this would be a pan that you would use more for that. So we have roasting. We can cook in the barbecue. We can boil. I'm not a big boiler. I'll boil spaghetti, noodles and stuff. But I always kind of feel if I boil a vegetable that I'm cooking all the good stuff out of it. That orange water for the carrots, it should be in the carrots. So that's why I steam, or you can roast them or do something a little differently. So this is browning meat. As you see, it's not very crowded in the pan, because the more crowded you make it, it'll start to steam instead of browning on the outside. We're putting a beautiful caramelization on it. And don't throw away those brown bits, because that'll make a beautiful sauce. There was a very funny episode in the show, and I see little clips of it, and it's called Schitt's Creek. And it's spelled differently, so don't think I cussed. It had an episode on folding. So nobody knew how to fold it. You have to fold in the cheese. So folding, that's when we're going to use my handy little tool here a lot, or maybe a spatula. Folding in is when we've got it a beautiful texture. And the more we stir it, we're going to disturb like the air bubbles that we've created in a meringue, or when we're making whipped cream or whatever, but we got to add chocolate to it. So that's when you call it folding, when you put that in and you gently turn it over on itself. And that's called folding. And so if you ever wanted to know what that was, it's a method of incorporating, mixing it together without ruining it. Because now I'm breaking all the air bubbles, or I'm ruining the mix. Another term that we hear often is called Mirepoix. And Mirepoix is a French term. And when you say Mirepoix, and you hear it on cooking shows all the time if you don't know what it means, it is carrots, onions, and celery. And it's an equal mix of them, and you use it as a basis for everything. So as we go on to more and more episodes, I will be using something that I buy pre-bought because I'm lazy and I don't like to chop. A perfect little Mirepoix, a mixture of each of those cut up, so that it gives a beautiful texture. But that's the French term for that, and that's another common thing that you hear all the time on the internet, in case you don't know what that is. Al dente is a term we use for pasta to show at what point we cook it till. When it's just underdone, it's al dente. Generally, I take it out and bite a piece of it. This time I'm going to cut and try and get it on camera here. Can you see a little bit of uncooked pasta? At this point, we would stop cooking the pasta and let it continue cooking in the sauce by adding a half a cup of the pasta water too. So we cook it till it's al dente, just a few minutes less than the box says. Deglazing a pan is when you have beautiful brown bits at the bottom and you add some liquid, in this case some chicken stock, and I took some chicken out of that pan, and you deglaze the pan, meaning you get all the brown bits off the bottom. You kind of simmer it, and that it helps you dissolve everything, and it kind of cleans the pan too. And what I've got here now is a beautiful gravy, start of a gravy. You can see all the brown bits are gone, or a beautiful sauce. And that's how you deglaze a pan. So chiffonade is a term to describe how we're going to cut something. In this case, I have some basil. You're supposed to stack all the leaves, and I have a whole bunch here, and I maybe didn't stack it that pretty, but you roll it like a cigar, and then you slice it, and then you create ribbons. I am chiffonading the basil. So you'll see here some nice ribbons. And that's what a chiffonade is. Reducing is when we simmer something, some sort of liquid, and we reduce it by evaporating. And usually a recipe will say reduce by half, so that means if we see the line at the side, half of it will be gone, and that way we either thicken or we really intensify the flavor. So that's reducing. Differently. So we have 8 things. We have boiling, frying. I don't really fry much because, you know, it's too greasy and it smells at the house, so we fry outside. We have a little burner outside. We'll fry out there. Braising. Did I get them all? Oh well, you know what I mean. So there's all these different ways to cook and different ways to cook. You have a couple different ways you can cook different things, and it's all part of being a good cook, of knowing it. So have a great day. Go along, be inventive, cook something new. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Please visit my website, mealsandentertaining.com, and see my available ebooks. Plus, subscribe to my channels, and don't forget to follow me, like me, or love me.